Check this out.
I think that's when I said, this is going to be my husband. Boom.
Wow.
And the rest is history.
Oh, well, there's that.
All I can hear when I watch this is Lauryn Hill singing, "It could all be so simple." We literally are reacting to Black Love tonight on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. And the show starts right now. What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG. It's Tuesday, so it's time for a new episode of Dear Black Gay Men podcast. It's still our short, bullshit-free step out of our comfort zone to talk about all the emotional ups and downs along the journey to happiness. Hopefully, this is our midweek reminder of how dope it is to be black gay men who love black gay men. Black Love Doc chronicles black celebrities' love stories, both gay and straight, men and women. I have been watching their series on OWN and following them on YouTube. Tonight's video is part of a series featuring Kelly and Thomas, two men, two black men. They talk about how they met, what they love about each other, and how they're making it down the aisle. That is what they tell me. I have not seen this one. But tonight, we're reacting to the ups and downs along their journey to happiness to see if they can give us tips on getting out this damn dating pool. Remember, if you've got an opinion on the topic, join us live on the show by going to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com. The link is pinned in the comments. But first, it is time for church announcements. Hit it. Every week I write about the ups and downs of my dating journey on our blog on Substack. It's a deep dive into my emotional and sexual trials while I manifest my man in 2025. You can join for free by clicking on the screen now, or the link is in the description. How do I know if we're going too fast? This question has come through my DMs more often than I can count. Most recently, someone asked me for help navigating their current dating situation. A viewer asked if he was expecting too much by wanting to hear from the guy he's interested in every day. The viewer says both he and the guy are clear that they are dating, not exclusively, but it's more than casual. In these situations, I use what I call the 3-2-1 method of communication. First, for the first 3 months, try to see him twice a week and talk to him once a day. I've used this for every relationship that I've had as of late when I'm dating with intention. It helps make everyone feel like we're progressing without feeling rushed. But there are two keys that queer culture messes up. Number one, this isn't a decision you make together. One of you has to be the courageous one to create the routine. If you do it right, he will enjoy hearing from you every day. He will enjoy seeing you regularly, and he will meet you in the routine. When you start dating, you have to develop the cadence of your relationship. Sometimes that is a conversation. With this method, though, in the first 90 days, don't let it be. Then number two, you can't complain when he doesn't fall into it. You've made the decision to implement this routine, so you have to take the responsibility to do it without complaint. Take this time to see how he meets you on your 3-2-1 journey. If he's intentional about dating, he'll walk in step with you. If he's not that interested, this will feel like pulling teeth. Either way, you have an answer on if and how you can proceed with this guy's communication. If you want to know how the 3-2-1 method worked for me, comment communication and I'll send you a link. Subscribe for more dope queer stories. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link to the story is in the description. The best way to support what we do here on Dear Black Gay Men is to become a YouTube member. Members get access to exclusive conversations, the members-only chat, behind-the-scenes content, and you can join me to chop it up on the show. Yesterday, we announced that a portion of our super chats will be donated to an Atlanta area nonprofit providing HIV prevention and care in black gay culture. Just hit the join button below this episode or send a super chat of any amount. I am proud to announce that we got our first $100 super chat yesterday to work towards our donation goal. That deserves an applause. For all the latest updates, follow me everywhere on socials at JAI, the Gentleman on Instagram and Threads. That concludes our church announcements. Please govern thyself accordingly, and we will be right back. I've been in the gym so I could do two things. It's one, thirst trap on the internet, and look good for my man when I find one. And that's why I'm excited that support for Dear Black Gay Men comes from Twillery. Black men, whether you're in the gym like me or blessed with good genetics, like me, carry our weight in a couple key spots that can make suits and slacks hard to fit and uncomfortable to wear without either having to size up or break the bank in tailoring. But Twillery answers the fit problem with their performance fabrics. It's the right fit for the tailored look and just enough stretch for comfort and breathability. I'm wearing right now the solid performance polo that hugs my chest and arms while tapering just enough at the waist to show off the good parts. Twillery carries suiting, polos, button-ups, and everything to impress at the job or knock someone's socks off on a date. And you can shop for the perfect fit right now at Twillery.com, and we've got a special offer for the DBGM family. Take $18 off your first order by using code M300J. That's Twillery.com, and we thank them for supporting our channel. Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. I am Jay the Gentleman. I discovered Black Love when it was a docu-series on the Oprah Winfrey Network. Anybody that knows me that I fawn over everything Oprah related. Tonight we're reacting to one of the love stories from their YouTube channel. The fun fact about this particular set of stories is I posted this, that we're doing this video tonight on my Instagram, and the couple, Kelly and Thomas, were like in the comments saying they were looking forward to seeing this review. So we shall see. I have not seen it. I am excited about it, but I have not seen it. So we shall see what it's giving. Y'all ready? Here goes nothing.
Together for about 3 years.
And 6 months married.
We met online on an online dating app.
Yeah.
I think it was August 2021.
Dang, you're good.
But we started talking, and I think, you know, if you realize, like on a lot of dating apps, sometimes, or depending on what dating app, a lot of dating apps are more superficial, less conversation, more about, oh, you know, I only care about what you look like, you know, and, you know, not looking for anything long term. Where initially, I know I wasn't looking for anything long term, just looking to, you know, meet new people, have somebody to hang out with.
Well, for me, with Kelly, what got my attention on a dating app was the fact that he was able to hold a conversation. And as we
Pause right there. See, that's where these conversations lose me. Like when I'm on an app, am I the drama? Y'all let me know if I'm the drama. When I'm on the apps and I'm going through the swipe left for this and swipe right for that and blah, 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 I am not trying to stay on that app. I'm trying to get off the app as quickly as possible. Am I the drama? Or do y'all be having long, exhaustive conversations on Jacked and Grindr or Tinder or whatever? What you know, Joe said, a lot of those couples on Black Love got divorced. Let's not speak that into existence for Kelly and Thomas. They happy. Sidebar. Shout out to you, what you know, Joe. I don't know if this is a new fitness journey or you just updated a picture, but shout out to you for your new profile pic. You're not trying to gang in on the big arms territory like I am, because I'm trying to keep the big arms on lock. But like, do y'all be like on the app? Y'all stay on the app? Panthro says, you the drama. I don't know if I like your tone, Panthro. Oh, I don't have the button no more. I don't know if I like your tone. Panthro, pay attention. See, they having a whole dialogue. Okay, so perhaps it is just me, because I be trying to get off the app as quickly as possible. If I'm vibing with you, it doesn't take me a whole lot of back and forth before I figure out that, you know, I want to have a conversation with you. I'm trying to go a little deeper into the dialogue with you. I don't need to stay on the app forever. I don't do that with hookups. I don't do that with phone call, out with dates. I don't do any of that. Like, you cute, I'm cute. What are you doing tomorrow? Let's go get a coffee. Let's go get a cocktail. Maybe I'm dating wrong, because clearly Kelly and Thomas are married and they in a whole situation, a whole relationship marriage, and they stayed on the apps. Well, I don't know how long they stayed on the apps, but maybe I'm the drama. If I'm the drama, I can be the drama, but that's what I be thinking.
all know, on a dating app, usually it is very much so, can you send me that? And I'm gonna send it back to you. And we didn't have that type of engagement. Now it came along, it came down the line, but we didn't have that engagement initially for a very long time. We had a lot of get to know each other conversation, and for that to have happened on a dating app where I have downloaded and deleted it and downloaded and deleted it and downloaded time over it, to find someone with substance, I think that was the highlight for me, and I was extremely excited to meet him in person. So our first date was at a sports bar called Third Base Hollywood, and it was a great environment to meet for a first date. It was very public, it was very safe, and I think that's when I said, "This is gonna be my husband." Boom, and the
Wow.
rest is history.
Oh, well,
Okay. Would y'all qualify that as love at first sight? Would y'all say that's love at first sight? Because in my head, if you meet them and they be like, "That's my husband," I'd be like, is it though? Is it though? Y'all paying attention to all the wrong things. Marie says you shouldn't be self-conscious. You are gorgeous. I don't know if that's directed at me. I don't think that's directed at me. Uh I'd rather converse off the apps. J926 said it agreed with me. I think that's what you're saying. I'd rather converse off the apps. I'm here for that. What you know, Joe says, I need those green shoes that Kelly has on. Me too. Panther says no. Clip Sauce says no. Panther says, I don't believe it, love at first sight. Okay, so let's walk ourselves through what he just said. They had these exhaustive conversations on the apps, on whatever the app was, and he kept his attention. I don't Kelly is the one in the green, Thomas is the one in the gold. I don't know. I don't know. Kelly might be I don't know which one's which. But either way, you go, you having this deep conversation on the apps, you having all the things, right? And then he's like, "Oh, that's the man I'm gonna marry." That's not love at first sight. That sounds like love at first sight to me. Whether you believe in it or not, that's what sounds like what they got. And I don't know that I don't know that I would go for that. Quick story. So I was on a date. Our first date was at IHOP because I ain't had no money back then. And he said that after the conversation, he felt as if he was, vibed out with me and he wanted to like become a thing. And I'm thinking, I don't know your last name, bro. I get really nervous about it. Let's keep going.
there's that.
Yeah.
Talk about speaking into existence.
Yeah.
Well, my perspective, I think it was pretty much the same. Talking to someone, genuine conversation, very interested in meeting that person. Being very candid and open. We're pretty open with our life, and I'm pretty open with my life now. To be honest with you, what a lot of people may not realize, you see where I'm at now in my space and where we are in our space, but I wasn't an openly gay man at the time. I think I was still, for lack of a better phrase, exploring my options, and I had started to teach myself or learn that it's more about the person that I'm with for me. It wasn't whether or not they were male or female, because I do have a child. And it wasn't just about male or female to me anymore. It was more about the person, and I feel like I met a genuine person. So when we went out, it was a very natural atmosphere. Thomas was very considerate of my level of being comfortable. He was very considerate of that as far as what I was comfortable with, what I wasn't comfortable with. And I definitely appreciated that, because it's not something he had to do given the space that he was already in his world, from that side of things.
Okay, pause right there. Like, could y'all date somebody with a kid? I'm always baffled with the people that say with the people that have a kid, the people that are in the process with someone who has children. I talked yesterday about how I have no interest in having children. I do not want to be a dad. That is just not a thing for me. Now, I could be a father figure with somebody if they really wanted one. Like if I love my partner and they wanted a kid, I would figure out a way to make sure that I am happy in that and it would not be a sacrifice. I could do that. But if I had my way, I just have no interest in having children. And so would y'all date somebody with a kid? Like if they came to it with a kid? Panther said K Brav says, no thanks. I ain't want no dude with small kids, small children. Panther says I'm nervous dating somebody with kids. Will Kipsaw says, oh, back to the first thing. I think love at first sight refers to falling in love with someone before you even have a conversation with them. Okay. Okay. I'll give you that. Varian, 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 dope beard, bro. I believe in the possibility of love at first sight. I think it can happen if you're open to it. That does mean you're going to be with this person for the rest of your life, but it could happen. I think you mean that doesn't mean you're going to be with this person for the rest of your life. Either way, I don't know if I believe in love at first sight because it feels like love bombing to me. And I've been in that situation. Is that my baggage? I wonder. Is that my baggage coming up that I've been love bombed before, and so now I'm like bracing myself in case somebody tries to do it again? Maybe I'm evolving right here on the show. Ulysses Michael says, "Okay, arms out. Hey Jay, with your fine self. Hey." Someone is here in the studio. So if I'm looking over here, it's because there's somebody sitting over there now. But hey, you kind of fine too. Let me quit because someone said that I be flirting too much on the show. Here we go. I'm gonna be self-conscious about everything I say on this show. Personally, I couldn't date someone with a kid, just not interested in being a step parent. Are you interested in being a parent? Like you dated someone who wants children because you have kids in your relationship. J926, answer me that in the comments. Let's keep going.
Your role in helping you in your journey because you love me so much and couldn't find nothing better.
No, wait. You know what? I don't know about.
Did I hear that?
I don't know about the entire context of that. I will say that I can. I can honestly say that I would say you helped me in my journey in the sense that you helped me realize that it was okay to be me, and it was okay to be happy being me, and it was okay to be happy with someone else. I've been through a lot of disappointment. I'm sure we all have, but I think you just made life seem normal, for what it was.
Pause right there. One thing that I have not seen on Black Love Doc in general is like an unattractive couple. Like I ain't seen two men that are big or two men that are overly feminine or not that feminine is unattractive or that being big is unattractive, but I haven't seen the a couple that isn't traditionally or stereotypically attractive. And I wonder, do they filter for that? And what is that doing to our psyche as a culture? I think it would be dope if they had, somebody who is feminine because these two people seem like they present fairly masculine. Both of them, I mean, I follow them on Instagram, so I know that both of them is like bodybuilder size. They know their way around the gym. They are traditionally masculine, at least or at least that's what it's giving on this particular clip. And I just wonder what would it look like if like Black Love Doc, which is founded by straight people. Let me be clear about that. Embrace like different versions of gay couples that weren't so traditionally or stereotypically attractive. What would that look like? Like I couldn't see myself up there because I'm too much of a butch queen. I'd have my nails painted and my titties out or some shit. I don't know. For those who don't know, I'm like wearing like the daisiest of Daisy Dukes under this desk with like some J's, and this is a singlet. So I'm very, very gay right now with my chain on. Sidebar. I'll tell y'all a story about this chain in a minute. But all of that, I just wonder where are the like does straight culture, because this is a straight show. Black Love is a YouTube channel founded by straight people. I wonder what does it mean if straight culture, do they have space to embrace like feminine men or no, I don't know about hard masculine women because I've seen that on there. I ain't seen nobody that's like the girls. like one of the girls. Robin says, I love their energy. Me too. Nah, I couldn't. J96, when you have children, you're sacrificing your freedom, and I enjoy my freedom. Yeah, I think the same way. That's why I don't want to have kids. What you know, Joe? Dating someone with a kid and seeing them interact with their child is sexy to me. Like, do you want to be a stepfather? What you know, Joe? Do you want to be like picking them up from kid? Say, because the irony about that is, while I do not want to have kids myself, I love picking up my niece from school. Love it. I would do it any day. Also, let me tell y'all this, like, I was a latchkey kid, and so when I had after school activity, my parents were always the last one to pick me up. If pickup time was 6 o'clock, my daddy would show up at like 6:30 and just be like, "Oh, my bad." And so the last thing I want my niece to ever experience is like being that last kid being picked up. If I got anything to say about it, she gonna I'm gonna be the uncle that brings McDonald's to her lunch cafeteria. I'm gonna sign in at the front desk. I'm gonna be the one that I'll probably be the signature on the letters that she does when she wants to skip school when she get to high school. I'm that uncle. I just don't want to be that dad. Have no interest in being that dad. Antonio Loyal said, "Hola, hola, ¿cómo estás?" Ulysses says that's interesting. What part of that is interesting? I was gonna call you Yuli. I don't know if you go by Yuli, but what you know, Joe. All right, let's keep going.
Give you that credit. I don't know about everything. I don't know about
Yes.
finding something better. I don't know about, I don't know about all of that.
Oh, that was cute.
What made me see Kelly as my person for long term, better yet forever, and when I saw him and I met him, we had fun immediately. Like it wasn't a warm, we had fun and we related on so many different things. We related on social, we related on music, we related on food. He doesn't drink or smoke, okay? So we didn't relate on that. But we relate on so many things where he came into my world with the history of the conversation on the dating app. And I was excited and eager to meet him, or meet you, excuse me. And to meet you, and you're the same person that I met on the dating app, where I have a history of meeting people that's not the person on the app. Hello? And it just all felt right. Your conversation was good. Your love was good. Your touch was good. Everything I was thinking I wanted, he was able to provide in these moments. And for me, I just knew that a lot of the things that I would complain about in the dating world, I wasn't complaining about. You know, and I didn't know you.
Okay. Okay. Now, I love a love story. I'm mushy that way, but let me also say I'm not jealous. Yeah, I am. I'm jealous. Cause what I love about them is that they look like they in love. Like they look like they want to be together with each other. Tell you a story about somebody I just recently dated. So my toxic trait, my red flag is I have a soft spot for emotionally unavailable men. Men that do not want to be with me. They want me to have to work for it. I was going to marry somebody who wanted me to work for it. He never said that, but that was his vibe. The last dude I dated, Kivante, that I talked about on Substack, I had to work for it. I had to toil for that. And for some reason, that always in my head and in my heart felt as if when I worked for it, it would pay off. And the hardest part about that is it innately made me feel like I'm not good enough. I am not enough for your love. So that means I gotta work for it. I gotta go above and beyond. I gotta knock your socks off just to get by. And that has always been my vibe. It's not healthy at all. And that is what therapy is for. But that has always been my vibe. And what I love about their story, or at least how they're presenting here, is it looks like they don't have to work for it. They love each other as a foundational piece versus you have to prove that you love somebody or someone has to prove that they're worthy of your love. Have y'all ever experienced that? Or am I the drama? Because apparently I am the drama. I'm always the drama, apparently. Uh oh, there's more comments. I hate that the comments ain't popping up on the screen. My bad, y'all. Uh Panther asked about the baby mamas. What's interesting is hearing about how they haven't shown a couple that leans on the femme side of the gay spectrum. But the fun fact about that, Ulysses, is I love me a girl. I love the Bush Queens. I tell everybody that I'm out to draw the line at long fake nails and long fake hair. Can't do it. Can't do it. Like I don't. If your weave is getting in my face while we doing the dirty, sorry, it's not for me. Because in my head, I start processing you as a woman, and then I'm not attracted to women. I'm not attracted to women. I am attracted to femininity, though. So it's very interesting. But I do think that it's very interesting that I have not seen, at least I have not seen someone who is femme presenting as a man on this show. I have seen masculine women. Like, I think Niecy Nash and her wife have been on Black Love, but I have not seen a femme presenting man in a relationship. But I have seen femme presenting men in relationships in real life. Very, very interesting to me. Thank you for adding that to the chat. Dr. Driffin said, we sitting here with the girls having a watch party. Hey, I got applause. I think I got an air horn in there too. My sound effects ain't vibing like they usually do. My bad. Hey Doc, Dr. Daniel Driffin. He was commenting on comments yesterday. Shout out to him. Antonio Loyal says, Black men, we need to learn just how to love. What do you mean by that? Add that to the chat. What do you mean by that? We need to learn how to love. Kevy Kev, so Jay loves the chase when it comes to dating. Tell you another story. Thank you for adding that, Kevy Kev. So I do like a chase. The irony is, like, even when I'm hooking up on the apps, I'm on the apps in the DMs. The best, sexiest part of the process to me is the sup, which WID into, like, that exchange is the sexy part to me. Like, the sex that happens at the end of it is just icing on the cake. Like, I've gotten my pleasure from sliding your DMs, sending pictures, all of that thing, and then, I get to fuck you afterwards. Oh my God. But yes, I do. My unhealthy trait is I enjoy the chase. I enjoy I enjoy knocking somebody's socks off, but that had the unhealthy part of that has manifested in I end up with people who are emotionally unavailable, and I try to work my way to break down their walls, and that is not healthy on any level, for me at least. Now, if you like to chase and that's your vibe because that's how you express, that's your thing, but it is not healthy for me because I just end up with men who we don't have to talk about that. Xander Cruz says, I don't want kids now, but something in me tells me that as I age, I'm 32, I still want a family legacy. And it's just think it's so natural for men to want to pass on our genes. Time will tell. Ha ha. Not funny, but that is exactly why I had the pressure of wanting children. I told y'all yesterday, my father is Kenyan, and it is important for the oldest son to pass on the name and the legacy and all the things. And I grew up with that pressure. And it wasn't until I had a niece that I could let it go, because I'd be like, there she go. Somebody gonna pass on this name, or at least the genes are gonna go. The name might. I don't know. I don't. She's 2, so I don't know how her life is going to progress and what decisions she's gonna make for herself. But I look at her, I'm like, somebody gonna get something, because all these great Makoha genes are going somewhere. This says, is that Ryan? Is that how you say that, Ryan? I had to unlearn that as well, but I was the oldest child and peacekeeper in my home growing up, so I need what? Need what? Okay, let's keep going.
But I was getting to know you. But normally you complain about things and you get to know somebody in the beginning, and I wasn't complaining, and that was exciting for me. And on top of that, the way he loved and cared for me without really fully knowing me or being in my life, in my world that long, it showed more value in him as a human than his physical, than his finances, any of all that. And so what I would recommend is if you're going to build anything with anybody, you want to build off of who they are at heart. Because when you remove the jobs and you remove the physical, you want to be in love with the person. And that is what I believe I found in Kelly.
You know, some people say people have the can-do attitude. Thomas has the anything is possible attitude, like anything is possible. Like it's the if you have $1 in the bank, you can make it to the Beyonce concert attitude, regardless of how it's going to happen. It don't get more positive.
Okay, we can pause right there because I don't know about that dollar in the bank. I rebuke that in the name of the Most High. Kevin Kev said something interesting. It says, I guess Jay hasn't had a man with waist length locks in lap since he doesn't like long hair. Again, I don't like long fake hair. If you have waist length, you can have floor length locks for all I care. You can have floor length hair growing out of your head. I don't like long fake hair. I cannot, I do not find, I'm not attracted to like, yo, 52-inch bust down. That's not, I respect it. I have a lot of respect for the courage and vulnerability it takes to express and live your life out loud. But does it make my dick hard? No. That's just me. Antonio Loyal says, letting down our boundaries with affection and wait, hold on. You said something earlier. Hold on. Antonio Loyal said, Black men need to learn how to love, and that means letting down our boundaries with affection and all. I love the concept of that. My spirit doesn't know how to do that because I'm a Black man living in a white supremacist society. Like, for most aspects of our lives, those boundaries, those walls that people have to overcome keep us safe. They keep us, with our head on the swivel. They keep us alive in some instances. And so the idea of having to let them down, I acknowledge that is necessary if I want to get intimate, emotionally intimate with someone. It's just, I think that we have there's this piece of us that doesn't, in dating, there's this piece of us that forgets that we are Black men in a white supremacist society where trials dark on every hand and we cannot understand. 2 points if y'all know what that is a reference to. But yeah, I think that, letting down our boundaries is great. It's just, I think for us, the bar is really high to build trust. Or am I the drama? Because I'll be wrong. I can be wrong about anything. I feel like it is just a high bar for us to build trust with each other because it is a high bar for us to build trust with anybody as Black men. That's just my experience. And then when I do build trust, I hold on to that tight. Am I the drama? Am I the drama? Am I the drama? Huh. We'll see. Keep going.
Beyonce, but it doesn't get, yeah. So I think I love it. It's the can-do attitude of like, no matter what. And I think part of that is what balances us out a lot is because not that I have a negative outlook or a non-can-do attitude. I'm very more like realistic. I'm looking at all the details behind everything. I like what's possible, what may not be possible. I'm analyzing everything, and he's almost just the opposite. So it's like I've seen a meme pop up a lot on Instagram lately where you have the couple who travels, and then they say there's the one who's worried about what time the flight leaves, what flight we're on. The other one saying, Oh, this is nice. So I think that's our dynamic, but I love that about him because it's a balance that we have.
I like how organized he is.
See, it balanced.
Yeah, I do. I love how organized he is because I'm very free spirited.
I wonder if they're like a Virgo and a Cancer, because this sounds like very Virgo and Cancer behavior. I am the what time does the flight leave? What gate are we at? Unless I'm with another Virgo. Like if I'm with another somebody who I know is type A, then I am totally aloof. I don't know anything about anything anywhere for any reason. I remember tell y'all the story. So me and my best friend, we travel. And we were going to he came to Atlanta for a party, right? I knew we were going to this party. We prepared to go to this party. We know this party is happening. As we are getting ready for the party, he's asking, "What time do we need to leave? When do we need to get there? Is there going to be a line? What is the club like? What is the parking like?" I don't know. I genuinely don't know because he is a type A person. So I'm like, we'll get there when we get there. Somebody will drive. We'll Uber. The credit card is gonna swipe, so we'll be fine. Like that, my whole life is we'll be fine. It'll work itself out. But let it be something like Dear Black Gaming Podcast. I know every detail about everything. I know exactly what time something's supposed to happen. I know what time this. I know I need to know where to script it. Like I'm very type A when I have to be when I'm the only Virgo, but let there be another Virgo at all, and I'm like, we'll figure it out. And the upside is my best friend is Virgo. He is a twin who is a Virgo. He has an older brother that's a Virgo. My mother is a Virgo. My brother is a Virgo. All of us Virgo. So I don't need to worry about nothing. Ever. 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 But let's keep going.
He's just very organized. My time management, like God did that.
Okay.
You know, because I pray for my husband to be like, I feel like God knew, okay, if we're gonna settle Thomas down with somebody, he gonna have to be able to get in there on time. You know, and I think that was very. I mean, because I don't know what it is. But I am not the best with time, or I'll calculate the time. I'll do the ways math. I'll find out what time it's gonna take to get there, and I still will be an hour late. So for me, Kelly is very structured and detailed. Now, granted, it can be very overwhelming sometimes, you know, because I also don't like to rush or be rushed. But with him, it's like, okay, I know the purpose. Like, I know the goal. And, you know, and when he's doing it, it's very much so like consider the source, right? You want to get upset, you want to be angry, you want to be mad, but consider the source. Because at the end of the day, it's benefiting us, like benefiting me, you know, because, yeah.
Love of family is a huge green flag for me because I love family. I love my family. I love his family as if they're my family, and they are now. Love of life.
And see, okay, so I told y'all I'm Virgo. There's a couple comments. Trav Dwayne says, Jay, I definitely feel you in regards to building trust with black, gay, and even straight men. A lot of us, a lot of black gay men do not feel safe just in general around straight men. And I absolutely understand that. I'm fortunate enough to have some very dope straight men in my life that have kind of changed the way I navigate space and helped me understand that they ain't all the same. But I mean, toxic masculinity is a thing that pops up in all of our cultures. Xander said, I think you are the drama on that last note. Black gay men have it the best in this modern USA society than ever before. Most other countries are much more racist and way more homophobic than the USA. Okay, hear me out. I do get comparatively so that that we have a whole lot of privileges here as Americans in the United States. Whether you are an immigrant, whether you are a natural born citizen, we have a lot more privileges than say the Congo, Ghana, Benin, Kenya, where my family is from. I get that. However, that does not change the lived experience of us here. I don't have the luxury of going to a even more progressive country. I got to deal with the problems in this one. And the problems in this one still see me as a black person as a second class citizen. And then the see me as a gay person as even more marginalized. And then you put all that together, and there are spaces in which I cannot go because of safety issues and all the things. So while I get that it could be way worse, we cannot allow that to overshadow the fact that it needs to be way better. Like both of those things can be true at the same time. Or I'm the drama, which again, I don't mind being. But yes, it could be way worse if I were in a different country or during a different time, but that doesn't mean that it does not need to be way better right now for us here. And that's my vibe. Uh J926 says, I need a friend that's good with taking charge like that. Yeah, you do. We all need one. Xander Crew, in black majority countries, homosexuality is not only shamed, it's punishable by law. Down talking US as a white supremacist nation, keeping you on the edge is wild. Us homos have it much better here. Let me ask you this, Xander. Are you have you lived elsewhere? Have you lived abroad? Because I think that might color your experience. I have not had the luxury of living in a different country. Now, I've lived in a whole bunch of parts of this country, and I can tell you that my experience is very, very different. Midwest is very different than the Deep South, is very different than the West and Texas, very like very, very different places. But have you lived abroad? And maybe that is creating some context that I can't step in with you because I just don't have that experience. Cortez, come to Tennessee and say that black gay men have privilege. Now, I will say I have been to Tennessee. I have visited. I ain't lived there. But I would definitely say that I know that living in Atlanta, Georgia, it's a lot easier to navigate spaces as a black gay man than it is to live in a lot of other parts of the South and a lot of other parts of this country. Oh. Marie Roque says there is no country more progressive than the USA. I don't know about that. New Zealand, Finland, lots of European countries. Canada, they had much more progressive when it comes to LGBT stuff. Brazil on some levels culturally, maybe not legislatively, but Brazil is a very progressive place. Spain, Portugal. I don't know that we lead the pack on anything when it comes to gay rights, but I do acknowledge that we ain't trailing behind anybody. That's a thing. Vernon Verlin Carter says I'm an Aquarius, and the guy on the right, sounds like an Aquarius. Very much go with the flow, head in the clouds all the time. I'll take your word for it. Trav Dwayne says you're spot on with this explanation. Progression in the USA. Hashtag. Thank you, Trav. McQuan says, get you a Virgo. That's McQuan. That's my best friend. Right there. Marie Roque says, people that don't understand that don't fully understand what it means to live in most of the world. Let me ask you this, because I am the son of an immigrant, right? My father came to the United States in the 70s, long before I was even, a figment of his imagination. He came long before that. And one thing that my dad says is in a lot of the globe, like my father had opportunity to visit Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, like a whole bunch of countries as he lived in Kenya. Grew up in Kenya, right? I don't know if he went there, but he had opportunity to. When he came to the United States, and I hear this from a lot of people who visit the US, who have immigrated to the US, there is just not a need to go to other countries to get a different experience. I lived in Michigan, so I've been to Canada. I lived in Texas, so I've been to Mexico. But the vast majority of us do not travel internationally like other places on the planet, like other groups of people on the planet. And so I think that the interesting thing about it is A lot of us don't have an international view of the world. A lot of us don't have a view of the world at all, lest it is, spoon fed to us in some documentary or on TV. And I think that to your point, Marie and Xander in the chat might be, I don't know if that's a benefit or a detriment, but that is part of the problem. I don't know if it's a part of the problem or the solution, but again, I don't think that things being worse in other places negates the fact that things should be better here. And it feels like we're trying to say that it has to be a either or, but it can be a both and. Things can be really bad somewhere else, just like they can be really good somewhere else. That does not mean that things don't need to be better here immediately so. Am I making sense? Does that make sense? I lived abroad. Kip Saw says I lived abroad. It really depends on which part of the country, really, or the country itself. But a lot of other of countries in Europe, it depends on the region. Got it. Jay, no offense, but you have no idea what you're talking about politically. I have no idea what I'm talking. Okay. In the political climate we're living in right now, I don't think I can say we're one of the most progressive in the USA. That's what J926 says. Omar says I'm a Virgo. Hey, Omar. Omar, is that really you? Is that you? Because that's a really good picture. Twin says Leo season. Ooh. I just dated a Leo. Oh, Kaiser, who works on the show, is a Leo. Today is his birthday. Shout out to Kaiser. Trav Dwayne says Virgo here. Marie says, go back to your father's country and you'll be begging to come back here. Let me say one thing about this particular comment. I ain't gonna tolerate nobody saying go back anywhere for any reason. That is never going to be a line of commentary or questioning that we are ever going to use, no matter what. I don't give a damn what your idea was behind it, what the context was behind it. We not ever gonna tolerate anybody saying go back somewhere else for any reason, regardless of what comes behind it. So Marie, respectfully so, you can fuck off. Thank you. Uh nope. Trav Dwayne says Xander and Marie, we do in fact respect your different perspective. They do. But the second that you say go back somewhere, you lose me. Absolutely. And I don't give a damn what y'all got to say about it. Love it. Love you. Mean it. But have a good day. Let's keep going. Speaking of which, I think that's a perfect place to say, if, for instance, you would like to join me on the show, go to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com and we will comment on comments after the break. And we will be right back.
Do you know your HIV status? When you do, you can take control of your sexual health. HIV self-tests give you the power to decide when and where to test. You just swab and stick it in the tube. Test in the privacy of your own space. You can set a timer, sit back, and wait. In as little as 20 minutes, you'll know your results. No matter your test results, you have a community waiting to support you.
I love being able to test where I want.
I love that it's confidential and quick.
You gotta love free.
It makes me feel empowered.
When I show myself love, I show my community love.
It's important to know my status.
It's important to know your status.
It's cool to know, you know?
If we all get tested, we can stop HIV together. Learn more about HIV testing, including free HIV self-tests at cdc.gov/HIV self-testing.
Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. Before we go, let's comment on comments. Hit it. Let me say this. Let me just say, I do not take pride in telling anybody to fuck off. That is not the energy I try to bring to this show. But I do not believe anybody in this country or otherwise should ever say things like go back somewhere else go back to your father's country, that is xenophobic at the very least. And I don't I again, I love being American. I love the United States to a degree. I see very clearly that we got issues and problems here. There are issues and problems in other places as well. However, go back somewhere just ain't commentary that I'm going to entertain on this platform, especially dear black gay men. Now, granted enough, I will say I got a little grace if that can't if someone identifies as a black gay man, like I'll you know I'll take that a little differently. But hear hear me good. We not going. I don't tolerate that kind of commentary. Okay, which leads me to what I was just saying. The comments are going through the roof on Dear Black Gay Men Podcast. If you want to add your piece to the conversation, just go to livestream.dearblackgaymen.com to join me live on the show. We've got four people are waiting to have a conversation as time will allow. Let's see. I think I got the first one. Ooh. Hey caller, what's your name?
Hi,
What's your name? Where you from?
Tony Loyal. I am from Chicago and I live in Iowa.
Hey Tony Loyal, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Unbelievable. What's your question?
So my question regarding the video that you played earlier
Uh-huh.
for the balloon pop, it seems like everybody like popped their balloon immediately. We know because of his size, but my question for the black gays, and maybe it's because I'm removed from our culture a little bit, but why are we dismissing an entire encounter or an experience based on Air Force One?
The Air Force Ones it was the linchpin here.
It was the problem because it was like we're taking a look at something that's so small, we're making it big, but we're also avoiding the real issue. The real issue was like they didn't like him because of his size. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this. Is it little to you or little in general?
I think it's little in general. I mean, I think the way somebody styles themselves or the choice they make, I think we look too much into like what that represents sometimes. And I think because we don't, as black people, as I was saying, like in the other one, sometimes we don't allow ourselves to be free and we don't allow ourselves to be like be different from the norm. You know what I mean?
What do you No, I don't know what you mean. What do you mean we don't allow ourselves to be different from the norm, meaning what?
Meaning like, black gay men for a certain amount of us, we're gonna all grow up with the same kind of like, ideas and mannerisms unless we have diverse experiences. But a lot of times when it comes to like fashion, we do carry ourselves with high esteem with fashion. I love that about black people.
Yes.
But a lot of times we take the littlest thing that could be minuscule and we just make it so big. Because I think we look for like, what's leading in, popularity, what's hot, what's busy right now. And if that's not it, it's like it's showing a little bit. It takes away from stuff. That's all I'm saying. I
I
think
do
we look at
Go ahead.
I think we look at little things like that and we just dismiss an entire person. You know what I mean? We already do it with like, oh, he's femme or he's a big guy or whatever. But like to then numb it down to like, oh, and the shoes. Okay, they don't look cool on him, but it's still his style. You know what I mean? Like
Yes, but
there's more.
don't I have the space and capacity to say whether or not I'm attracted to that or not?
You do.
Don't
You
I have
also
the
have the
agency
realization.
enough to do that?
Yeah, you have the agency enough to do that. You also have the realistic outcome is that you might miss out on a lot because of that.
I but I think that is a risk that each of us is taking individually. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah,
Like
I agree.
for instance,
I agree.
I think that like I am not tremendously attracted to a lot of things, but that and so the risk I take with that is I might miss out on whatever or whomever that is one day down the line or in my past. But I don't think
Agreed.
it.
And I
But are you saying that we should just suspend all attraction based on appearance?
I think we should look at the things that don't matter and figure out why they do matter so much.
But you're assuming that these things are all you're assuming that things matter or don't matter objectively, as if because it is unimportant to you, it should therefore be unimportant to everybody. To some people, shoes and appearance is very important, and we can't dismiss the things that are important to them just because it is not important to other people. Or is that what you're
I
saying?
agree. I think my problem with that is like more than two or three people mentioned his shoes, which I was like, y'all really going for the shoes? Like, I don't know. I had an issue
Yeah,
with like,
but
say
that
something else.
particular shoe is
Say
ubiquitous in our culture.
it was, so that's my, maybe that's my separation. Cause like, I mean, personally, I don't wear ones. You know what I'm saying? I never was like, they were
I
never my
don't
style.
either.
But when I see people, I'm never like nah, money. He got ones on. I can't do that. I don't know like what stereotype or what experience comes with some guy who wears ones. But I'm thinking they probably are like, I get it. Looking at his outfit, they were like, okay, you gave this, you gave that, and then you came with this. I get that part. I don't know if I agree that people are like, it doesn't matter. I think it matters enough for them to pop their balloon. But I think culturally, I'm just speaking like why when we are a little different, we tend to miss out on so much because then this thing that you don't like or that you do love becomes a type, and that type becomes like your reality most times over and over. So it's like, are we really gonna like, if you only mess with guys with Tims, what experience are you having with guys with Tims? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. I think two things can be true at the same time. I do think
Oh,
that
definitely.
everybody has the opportunity to be attracted to whatever they're attracted to. And I do and like I said, the risk we run when we single out something as a red flag or as a chop is you might be missing out on a really amazing person, someone who may have all the other tenets that you are looking for, but because you made this thing really important, yeah, you might miss out on that. But I also think that that our culture is not served by assuming that things that are unimportant to us are then unimportant to everybody. They're just coincidentally are a lot of people on this show, because again, I'm the primary voice on it, that mirror how I feel, which is again why I encourage dissenting opinion here, because I don't want to be talking to an echo chamber.
No, I totally get it. And I think for me, like the comment I made in that video when I was watching it, because I had a little downtime at work, it had more to do with like the gay guy that's different. You know what I mean? Where's the
Hmm.
space for him?
Speaking of which,
Where is
we do have
yes,
that comment. Can I read it for you?
yes, you can.
Okay. This is Tony Loyal. He says, I love your platform, but I have to go in. Bigger black gay men don't ever feel part of this gay black community for reason within this show. And you gave your explanation about not wearing all black ones. So when we encounter other groups of gay men who don't care about our shoes, y'all get mad and say we have self-hate. No, sir. We go where we are loved. Black gay men don't truly love other black gay men. This episode was a real fool to me. So, what I'm hearing though is the heart wants what the heart wants, and you go where you are appreciated. And those are sentiments that are absolutely appropriate. Yes?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I can I can hear you now.
Okay. So, the heart wants what the heart wants, and you go where you are appreciated and loved. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So help me understand where your sentiments came from, because I'm very intrigued by that particular comment.
I think it came from experience. Like I have in the past dated outside my race. And to this day, I just want people to know it's not a preference. At some point it was just an option. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now I'm at the point where I'm like, no more like no white like even in my social grinders or whatever, I'm like, no white men. Absolutely not. And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, bro, no, we're not doing that. But I think though, like, just seeing what is visually presented, like, all the guys in the lineup, none of them look like the guy that you showed came out. So like what are we what space are we creating if we're saying, like historically, no fast, no fence. I am 5 years from 40 as of January, so I don't care what anybody's like, do. I do everything for myself and for health. It's not
Mhm.
about visual. If I think I look good in the mirror, that's what we're going to rock with. But I do feel like there has been a limited space when it comes to the gay community, especially the black gay community, because outside of them being your good Jude, these men are like, they're not always included. But I also wanted to just like lash out because I disagree with like the whole setup of they knew they didn't like him. Call a thing a thing. Y'all knew I didn't like him because you don't like bigger guys, or you probably felt like he looked like a church queen, or whatever the case was.
Now,
But
I
like,
do agree with
so
that. They could have stood 10 toes down on what they were saying without saying it.
call a thing because now it's like it's not about the shoes. It's about the fact that you don't want a big church queen, or we might be culturally in some ways subconsciously still addicted to the idea of trade. Every man that I marry has to be masculine and do this because this is what is giving. But I don't feel like that's the reality for everybody. My
Okay.
comment came from my experience. I feel like my comment only comes from my experience. And the problem with the bigger gays is like sometimes we don't get the space to even talk about our experience because it's like, well, whatever, find a spot.
Well, the upside is you are here now. Now, I will say I do have 3
Period.
other people that are waiting, so I gotta get to the next one, but
That's cool.
I appreciate the perspective and you adding that into the chat and you being bold enough to come on the show. Shout out to you.
Hey, thank you, Jay.
Of course, of course. Thank you so much. Uh, I got a new one. Hey, caller, where you from? What's your name?
Hi, my name is Khalif. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. How are you?
I'm good, Khalif from Brooklyn, New York.
No, I want to comment on the segment where the couple was in the video and they were just talking about how they met. And sometimes on the show, I notice how the commentary is all about the struggle African American gay men have in meeting each other
Mhm.
and all that. And one of the things I can say when I have watched the video in its entirety that I enjoyed is that for me, I always thought that dating was quite simple. And it's as simple as when you meet up someone, one, you do date, and and the objective of dating is just asking yourself a simple question whether or not you can accept the person as is. I say instead of morphing them to be something that they don't have the capacity to actually be, can you accept them as is? And then asking yourself the second question, whatever they're presenting to you, can you deal with it or not? I don't think it's as challenging. Well, it have not been that challenging for me. And when I saw the video, the wonderful thing about it is it seemed like two men had met each other at a certain time and they were able to discuss, hey, am I able to deal with the person as the totality of as the person is? And it doesn't seem that they got together with the mindset of trying to change each other or morph someone to be something that they actually are not. And I think that's key factors. And I think fundamentally, where a lot of us may have some issues is the fact that I'm discovering when I talk to people in my everyday life, especially here in New York, people don't even know what they want for them for their own selves.
Mhm.
They don't have any self-awareness about what their strengths and weaknesses are. They don't have any insight about really, really from the heart place, what do they want? I think sometimes they just join things or just follow the flow of someone else format instead of having the tools to go inward and act themselves, discovering what is going to work best for them and presenting that in a real way. And so when I watched the video footage, that energy that they were presenting through the screen is what I found most attractive or most appealing. But once again, I'm also realistic enough to understand that that's a new relationship, that's a new marriage. So that is to be revisited about probably about 3 or 4 years and see if they still singing the same song years later. That's a whole different
Well,
process. But I think
I
it's wonderful to see.
I appreciate you adding that to the chat. What I truly believe is that a lot of us don't do the internal work to figure out what we actually want and need and desire. And to your point, and also to Tony, I think Tony, that was his name, Tony Loyal, the person who came on before you, is that sometimes for a lot of us, especially me, 10 years ago, I was attracted to what I thought, just looked best with me, what everybody else liked. I wanted a piece of trade that was masculine and a top with a big dick because that's just what everybody else wanted. And I
Hmm.
did, and I never had to ask myself, does that work for me? And I think that the season that we are in, with so many of us wanting to date, is we have to ask ourselves what really does work for me. And when we find it, we gotta stick it out till we get to the good part. And every relationship I've talked to, that is the through line, is they stuck it out until they got to the good part. And I think that somehow in our culture we have lost our staying power. I appreciate you for adding that.
Yeah, and you said,
Khalif,
yeah, and you said something very. You said something that's very critical. You have shared the part of whether or not it works, whether or not it's working for you or not. I think that's have been always key, whether or not it does work for you or not.
I might have just lost some technology. Okay, Khalif, my screen just went black.
Yeah, it
We
did.
dealing with technical difficulties. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, y'all. Uh, that concludes our show. My apologies for losing video here at the end of the show, but I appreciate you all more than I can ever express. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.